there are a lot of challenges when it comes to hiring a personal trainer. We're well aware of this. One that I speak about all the time, of course, is the professionalism, the fact that this field is unlicensed, and that which is why in our brand is in our 24-year history, all of our staff members have possessed at least a bachelor's degree in the field of either exercise science, exercise physiology, kinesiology, sport medicine, or athletic training. It's the way we maintain a level of professionalism. But there's a lot of other concerns. There's location, there's cost, there's time. There's expertise as far as type of workouts that you want to do and what the trainer does or doesn't do. But there's one out there that's a big challenge, and it's one that that I think in ways our field has not helped. But it's also born out of experiences that have nothing to do with a professional trainer, and that is combating the trainer versus bully mentality when hiring a personal trainer. Today on the Personalized Fitness Podcast. Hey, good day and welcome to the Personalized Fitness Podcast. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Garrett Williamson. I'm president of Personalized Fitness and the host of the Personalized Fitness Podcast. Thank you so much for joining me on another topic that most people don't understand and wouldn't know about. And I'm surprised I haven't done a podcast on this before because it's one that I want to address, and I'd love to get out in the public and hopefully dispel this myth that is, I hate to say, it's being perpetuated by other people in this field. So we're going to dive into it in just a second. Let me tell you how to get in touch with the show. You can reach out to me at area code 251-278-3343. That's 251-278-EDGE. You can also reach me at Garrett, Garrett, at personalizedfitness.com. That's also that's my email address, personalizedfitness.com, of course, our website, and Personalized Fitness, our Facebook page. Hit me up on X at Team PE. I'd love to speak to you about this topic or any other, or, like I say, anything that dispels the myths of health, fitness, and wellness. This particular topic, I came across by talking to a client, and talking to 3 clients, as a matter of fact. For years, I worked with the senior population. It wasn't like I hung a sign up, say, hey, if you're not this age, don't come see me. No, it's just that it's the population that tended to gravitate to us. And our median age, which is now 39, when I started training and actually started building personal ed and then started adding trainers, that median age got lower. And you would think, well, you're not working with seniors anymore. No. In fact, our senior population, if anything, has grown. It's just that through the years, our younger population has exponentially grown a little faster than our seniors have grown. Though our senior population has grown, 35% of our clientele is over the age of 65. We have people in their 90s, not just 1 or 2, several in their 80s. I couldn't tell you how many 70-year-olds we have. And also, much to the chagrin of many people around me, including clients, they realize that I don't know their age. I hate to say that because they've been working with them so many years, I've forgotten because it has no bearing on anything that we do. But I see this mostly in the senior population. We see this with some of the younger population, and that is the what an image of a personal trainer is to them. I'll tell you how this came about. I'm born and raised in this town. I know I actually started in this area. I started personal training on the other side of the bay, on the Eastern Shore, which is where we have a facility also. But I'm born and raised in this town. I come from a medical family. My father is a well-known physician in this area for 35 years. He was the chief police surgeon. My mother has been heavily involved with the arts in Mobile, been head of the docent program for 40 years in Mobile, and it's not a huge town. And so there are plenty of people that know me. They know my background. I've run into people that I haven't seen in years that remember that I pole vaulted in high school. So to say that I'm a lot of people are somewhat familiar with me in this town. Sure, a lot of people that are familiar with me that are past a certain age that desperately need our services, that can afford us, that know where we're located, know me, all that stuff, and they want to make a difference, but they still stay away. That was something I knew about for years. I had a particular client, a potential client, actually a particular friend. He was my orthodontist. Great, super, wonderful, tremendous man. And I'd run into him at parties. I'm come see you. I'm going to come see you. I'm going to see you. He said that for years. And I remember being at a particular Christmas party and running into him, and he said that. And I don't know if maybe I'd had a drink or something, but I looked at him and I said, hey, don't tell me that. Quit telling me that. And he looked at me shocked, and I said, you've been telling me that for years. You know where I'm located. You know what I do. Come see me. I think that challenge, throwing down that challenge actually is what made him, he showed up. He showed up like a week or so later, actually drove down the facility. And he was a client all the way until he passed away. Had a very close relationship with his client coordinator, and would leave, would never miss his session. Had lunch 20 miles away, 30 miles away from here with a friend that he hadn't seen from college, and had to almost cut the lunch short because he was not going to miss his workout session. That's how important it came to him. Another individual that the story was very similar. A senior, knew where we were, could afford our services, knew what we did, knew me, everything. But took forever to come see us. Thank God they finally did. And there was a third individual, and he probably was the one that really put his finger on this. In fact, he was the one that flat out said it. Very, 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 very bright gentleman, and articulated probably better than anybody. Because there's still people out there that I know that know they really need to come see us, but aren't coming. And I sat down with these three gentlemen at different times, and I asked them. I said, "Look, what's your experience now?" And to a man, oh my gosh, it's awesome. I would never miss that. I wish I'd done this earlier. So happy. It's so fun. I really enjoy it. The culture is wonderful. I enjoy my exercise. I'm getting in so much better shape. I had no idea it was like this. And then I would ask him, okay, why did it take you so long to come see us? You know where I'm located. You know my family. You know me. We were friends. Why? And the last person, the other ones had said different things, and I wrote them down. But I have to tell you, the last person, I don't want to mention his name, but he actually wrote me a letter. He wrote a recommendation for us, and he wrote in a letter. We've actually got it on parts of it on our website. But he wrote me a letter, and it was amazing, where he was able to really articulate why he didn't come down, and it happened to be fear. Now, he was 70s. Very bright, well-read, one of the smartest people I know. When he speaks in this area, people pack the house. Very brilliant man. And he told me, he said, Garrett, he said, just like anything, if you don't know about this particular subject, you're going to try to associate it with something that's familiar to you. Like, if you know nothing about riding a motorcycle, but you've ridden a bike before, you're going to kind of think about riding a bike. It must be something like that. Or better yet, I've actually tried it one time, but really surfed. I never have. But I have skateboarded. And so I think those are kind of similar, People do that with skiing all the time, Well, I've water skied, but I haven't snow skied. Maybe it's something similar to that. And what he was saying was he never experienced a personal trainer, knew about him, seen things on TV, maybe knew a friend that went to a trainer, but knew nothing about his relationship. What would that whole experience with a trainer be? And so he went to try to find something in his life, like anybody automatically does, that what would a trainer be like? And he brought up two examples, and they were shocking to me. And I look back at the responses that I'd gotten from the other two gentlemen, and they were identical. But this particular gentleman, Norman, he articulated it better than anybody. He said, Garrett, he said, when I was in high school, my high school coaches were bullies. You may have had that experience. I had experience of that, of a high school coach that I look back and go, you know why he never left coaching high school? Because he could be, pardon my French, Billy Badass. He was tough because he was pushing around seventh graders, made him feel real good about himself. But he said my high school coaches were bullies. And he said, believe it or not, I was a good athlete. But because I was bullied, I wanted nothing to do with the team sport. And so he actually got into horseback riding and was incredibly good at it. individualized sport, and I start seeing relations there. Now I was very small, so I didn't play a whole lot of team sports, football, these kind of things. Never was introduced to baseball. I think would have been great at that. But I did the finesse sports. I was a gymnast, I was a diver, I was a swimmer, and eventually a pole vaulter. Loved the team dynamic, but so I don't think I had that quite that same response. But I understood what he meant. They were bullies, and you know, it was a big comparison of, you know, can so and so beat so and so, you know, and let's pick on so and so because they're not as strong. But they were bullies, and I'm sure that when I say a coach as a bully, that probably is not foreign. That concept's not foreign to you, whether you had them or not. I'm sure the concept isn't foreign to you. And then he said something else I would have never thought of. One of the two regrets I have two regrets. One of them, I never completed my Eagle Scout, and that's why I'm so dedicated to working with the Scouts and actually being a merit badge counselor. I've spoken at 3 Eagle ceremonies. But the other regret I have is that I never served. I never was in the armed forces, and I wish I had. And so I never had that experience. Never had the experience of a drill sergeant. And many of these boomers, of course, were in the military. And so the next comparison they had to somebody that was a coach, a trainer of exercise or fitness, was a drill instructor. And you want to talk about intimidation? You want to talk about being a bully? Yeah, I mean it's kind of their job. Yeah, I mean you've seen it on the movies, you know. The Arlie Ermy. That's got the guy's name. He's passed away now, but he was an advisor on Full Metal Jacket, the movie Full Metal Jacket. But he ended up playing the drill sergeant because he wasn't a drill sergeant. He was an advisor, but he was so good at what he did. He actually was in the movie. The guy is a Marine. And the only reason I say he was a Marine was once a Marine, always a Marine. He's passed away now. But he started the movie and actually had an incredible movie career after that, even some on television. Because of it. But he was an advisor on the set, but he was a drill sergeant. And when you think of drill sergeant, I mean, I'm sure several of you conjure up the image of Arlie Ermy, yelling and screaming and talking bad to people. Well, this is what this particular client told me. You know, the only image I have of you is a bully as a high school coach or a bully as a drill instructor. That's why it took forever for me to come to you. It hit me like a ton of bricks. And I started doing some research on it and started looking at it because I've talked several times, I've done this in several consults, and talked about the fact that we have fought what I call the Hollywood image of a personal trainer. And I came up with that phrase, Hollywood image of a personal trainer. But what I mean by that is that whole concept of somebody yelling and screaming at you and making you lift heavier weight, and they're muscular and they're wearing ripped T-shirts all the time. And when you throw up, they're happy and they want you to fail and you're not tough unless you pass out, no pain, no gain. That whole ridiculous concept of a quote-unquote personal trainer. I'm here to tell you something, folks. That ain't personal training. And I'm going to use my idiot term, but any idiot that tells you they are, doesn't know what they're talking about, then they're not successful. And if it's a personal trainer telling you that, tell them I said they are a complete idiot. And they're not a successful personal trainer. They may think they are, but I promise you, they're not successful. Why? Because there's not a population out there that is sadistic enough to hate themselves so much that they want that kind of ugly, absurd, negative reinforcement. Don't get me into this. Well, coaches that talk down to people, they're real successful. No, they're not. When they get upset with the player or something, the player really did make a mistake. When they do well, they champion them. And this whole concept of just beating people down and beat people down is not personal training. And you know, I say this so many times, we actually had that reputation tamped down pretty well. We really started beating up that whole concept of a Hollywood personal trainer, an abusive individual. Then this program, which I know is largely popular, please remember it's a reality show, but it's a TV show. It is not real life, and that was the biggest loser because you had a lot of that same concept there because people want to see that. It makes for good TV. Well, it doesn't make good for good personal training. I don't care what success you saw those people have. Go back and look at their long-term success. Look at whether or not they stayed in that abusive situation. It's not our approach. Never has been. Well, what am I going to say? That's our approach and we fail? No, I'm going to say we're successful. Of course we are. Well, what's my proof? 35% of our clientele is over the age of 65. Our average tenure of a client is 5.7 years. You're not going to have that if you have that type of culture. And that's why we focus so much on our culture. Our culture is our success. Yes, we have the most qualified staff in the Southeast. Every staff member possessing, at minimum, a bachelor's degree in the field of either exercise science, exercise physiology, kinesiology, sport medicine, or athletic training. We have the nicest facilities. This one won a statewide design award. I'm here in Mobile. The one on the Eastern Shore. We do in-home training. We do online training. We do corporate training. We've got 24 scholarships to our credit. We've taught 4 people to walk again. We've done incredible things, but why do people come and stay? Our culture. If you're not happy coming here, you're not going to be successful. Period. End of story. If you're not happy coming here, you're not going to be successful. I'll never forget, bless her heart, she's recently deceased, passed away, loved her death, Miss Ruth Berger. And I'm quite certain that Ruth wouldn't mind me saying this, and Harry or any of her other family members happen to hear this. I mean this affectionately. It's one of the greatest things ever said about me. On my grand opening, I'd worked with Ruth for what I thought was a long time by that time. It was 4 years. She was with me 15. But 4 years at that time. And I'd opened my facility, had my opening party, and my father had recently had surgery. I was so proud that he was able to be there. But he was feeling bad, and he actually sat down. And he never sat down in front of a lady. But he was sitting down, and because he was still sore from the surgery. And little Ruth Berger, she was all of 5-0, and loved her to death. She actually was holding my hand, talking to my father, and telling him, I hate this stuff. She hated exercise. Did not like it at all. But she sat there and told him, I hate this. The reason I come is him. The whole reason I show up and do this is because of him. Taught me something. First thing, it was one of the greatest compliments I ever received. And she wasn't talking about my ability to teach exercise. She was talking about the time she spent with me. She was talking about our culture. You ask our clients, they like it here. What do they like about us? And they'll start talking about the dogs that we have here, how happy everybody is, how upbeat everybody is. They probably won't even talk a whole lot about the exercises. Oh, our exercises are pretty darn good. They're amazing. Again, most qualified staff in the Southeast. Nobody better. But it's our culture. We're here to empower you. We're not here to beat you down. Why do I say that? Because I'm a nice guy? Because I'm a Christian? Well, okay, yeah, I do. But let's do what I do when I talk about. We want to get to the bones of a case, bones of a situation. What do they always say? Follow the money. Okay. I'm going to make less money. Look at it that way. I'm going to make less money if I sit there and create a negative environment and beat you down. We're here to empower you. Our mission statement is we seek to make you feel better about being yourself. That's not just a glorious, wonderfully sounding statement. That is our mission. That is our goal. I want to get a scholarship and go to a D1 school. Well, it'll make you feel better about being yourself. Wait a second. Doesn't sound like you want what I want. Well, let's see. Will getting a scholarship make you feel better about being yourself? Yep. Let's get to it. I'm scared to come in there. I've never exercised before. Those machines intimidate me. I actually had this case. I don't know how to exercise. I've never exercised before. I've never been in a gym before. I've never worked with a trainer before. I don't know what clothes to wear in here. I don't know where to buy those clothes. This is true. This was an actual occurrence. I set him up with the client coordinator. The client coordinator did all of it for him. Stayed with us until that person passed away. It's all about the culture and providing a welcoming culture and not perpetuating that ridiculous bully image. And if you are a trainer that is still, when you're thinking about getting into this field and you think, well, I'm going to make somebody do something, first and foremost, you're never going to make anybody do anything, period, end of story. If you say that you do that, you're fooling one person, it is yourself. If somebody has a gun to their head, they still have a choice. You're never going to make anybody do anything. And the second thing, I'm going to force somebody to do that. No, you're not. And if you take that attitude, shame on you. If you haven't gotten in the business, that's your attitude. Change your attitude. Don't get in the business. If you're in it and you're doing this, I'd like you to get out of the business, but don't worry. If you don't choose to, you keep that up, you will be out of the business. You will be out of business, I guarantee you. The only reason I hate it is because you get to call yourself a personal trainer, and many times you're not even, and there are people that have degrees that do this, but many times it's a weekend certified trainer that's doing it. And they get to call themselves a trainer, just like I had to call myself a trainer with 6 years of collegiate degrees, a bachelor's and a master's degree in this. You get to call yourself just what I call myself. Therefore, the uninformed public, not their fault, thinks you do what I do. You don't. You don't do what we do. I get so angry about it because I cannot stand that this thought process, this lie, yet again, another lie of age, lie of food, now the lie of bully trainer, is keeping people from making a difference in life. It is keeping people from saving their lives, enhancing their lives. If you have a loved one that needs help in this area, I promise you, whether it's kids, whether it's middle age, whether it doesn't matter. Every single person in the spectrum, we address culture is important. They've got to have a positive environment to come into. And if you think for 1 second, yeah, but that wouldn't fit me. Yeah, it would. Every single person that comes in here, I promise you. Because the culture is made to fit you. We have as many different programs as we do people. And we learn how they're affected here in their mind. First and foremost, the body is the easy part. But how you're taught to, how you're greeted, part of the reason why we have dogs in the facility. It's got to be a welcoming, happy place. Even if, like Ruth said, you hate exercise. You want to make it a happy place to come, a place you look forward to, and make the journey of getting better. Well, make you feel better about being yourself because your journey of getting better is easier. If we can help you with that, please reach out to me at area code 251-278-3343. That's area code 251-278-EDGE. You can reach me at Garrett, Garrett, at personaledgefitness.com. That is our website, my email address, and our website. Personal Edge Fitness is our Facebook page. Hit me up on Twitter at Team PE. We'd love to help you address, we love to help you reach not only your level of wellness, we'd love to help you make you feel better about being yourself. And I always like to end that way, obviously. But that's the way we're going to help you reach your level of wellness. Thank you so much for joining me today. Hope to see you next time.